Good morning students. Today we are going to complete the remaining part of the nose. In the previous segments you have already learned about the nasal cavity and the lateral wall of the nose. Today we are going to cover the nasal septum, which is present in the midline, dividing the nasal cavity into the two cavities, left and the right, and then we will be covering the blood supply, nerve supply, venous drainage, lymphatic drainage, and also the applied aspect of the nasal cavity. So beginning with the nasal septum. Now this is a view of the sagittal view of the nasal septum. If you can see on the upper aspect there is a frontal bone with the spine of the frontal bone. This is the spine of the frontal bone. The nasal bone with the crest of the nasal bone. Then the anterior part of the nasal septum is formed by the two cartilages. The one which is above is called as the septal cartilage, and the one which is below or anteroinferior to the septal cartilage, it is the septal process of the alar cartilage. I hope you remember the alar cartilage is present on the lateral nasal wall. So the septal process of the alar cartilage, that is forming the anteroinferior aspect of the anterior aspect of the nasal septum. So the anterior part of the nasal septum is having two cartilages, the septal cartilage proper and the septal process of the alar cartilage. In fact, if we put our fingers in our nasal cavity, we can even palpate these two, the septal cartilage as well as the septal process of the alar cartilage. Going on the posterior aspect, then we can see that in the upper part we have got the cribriform plate, there is the sphenoid, and the anterior aspect of the sphenoid is the rostrum of the sphenoid. This part is called as the rostrum of the sphenoid. And then there are two bones which are forming the posterior part of the nasal septum. One is attached over the entire palatine process of the maxilla and the horizontal palatine plate and extending backwards and upwards onto the rostrum of the sphenoid. That bone is called as the vomer bone. That bone is the vomer bone, and one plate or one part of bone is extending from above, that is the perpendicular plate of ethmoid bone. Okay, so the nasal septum basically is having two bones which are forming in the posterior part of the septum and the two cartilages which is forming the anterior part of the nasal septum. Apart from that, there are various crests which are helping in supporting those various cartilages, or you can say various bones. Here anteriorly we have got the crest of the nasal bone, above that is the crest of the frontal bone. On the postero-superior aspect we have got the crest of, or you can say crest of the sphenoid bone, or you can say part of the rostrum of the sphenoid bone. And on the inferior aspect we have got the crest of the palatine process of the maxilla as well as the crest of the horizontal plate of the palatine bone. So these are the various bones and the cartilages forming the nasal septum. Apart from that, if you can see here in the anterior aspect, if you can feel over in our nose also, this midline portion, which is a thickened fibrofatty tissue here, which is present here, that part is called as columella. That part is called as columella, and there is a membranous gap where there is presence of the fibrofatty tissue and some connective tissue here between the caudal border of the septal cartilage and the septal process of the alar cartilage. This part which I have shown here, this part is called as membranous septum. Okay, so these two parts, the columella which is in the midline here, which on the anterior aspect we can see from the outside also, and the membranous septum along with the septal cartilage, these all are the mobile part of the nasal septum. So nasal septum has got a fixed part which is mainly formed by the bony plates and the bones, and a mobile part which is mainly formed by the septal cartilage, membranous septum, septal process of the alar cartilage along with the columella. Now if we can see that this nasal septum, although we say it is a midline structure, but in many of the patients or many of the people, this septum may not be exactly midline as we say. it may be deviated to either of these sides. So the deviation of the septum on either of these sides, it is in short form called as DNS, that is deviated nasal septum. Now this deviated nasal septum generally does not cause much problems to majority of the people, but in some people it can cause recurrent nasal infection, recurrent nasal blockage or some other problems. So in that case, this deviated nasal septum needs to be corrected. Now how to correct it? Then there are two methods by which it can be corrected. One is called as the SMR, that is called as the submucosal resection. That is the here M and S both are here, so that is submucosal resection, and if further required, it can be also done by a procedure called as the septoplasty. No need to go in the details of this procedure, that will be you will be learning when you learn ENT in your third first, but just the applied, very important applied related to the nasal septum is deviated nasal septum, and the treatment of the deviated nasal septum, that is by the submucosal resection and the septoplasty. This can be asked as in the one-liners or in the MCQs or even in the table vivas. So you should remember it. So this is about the nasal septum, the structure of the nasal septum. Now we go on to the blood supply. Now supply lymphatic drainage of the nasal septum first, and then we will go to the similar things of the lateral wall.